What's going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Matt the Misfit. Tonight we are back with the reviews. Sorry for my long break. I needed it after the shitstorm that was Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. But we are back. We just had the draft. We're going to not talk about that at all. We're going to talk about this incredible show. Backlash from top to bottom was great stuff. 7 out of 10. I'll explain why my 7 out of 10 at the end of the review. But I enjoyed this show. I loved almost everything about this show. The Bad Bunny street fight was fucking amazing stuff. Incredible stuff. IYO SKY and Bianca Belair put on an incredible women's title match. IYO SKY is over as fuck. We had blood in the match between Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, of course, if he's going to have blood in his match, he wants to do it the hard way, and that's exactly what happened. We also had Omos's best match ever. Surprise, surprise, with Seth Rollins, who can have a phenomenal match with a stapler while he's sleepwalking. That's how great Seth Rollins is. We had an okay United States Championship match. I wasn't really thrilled on the 6-man tag match. The other women's title match was all right, but that whole match was for the moment itself. But we're gonna talk about that and much, much more. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, hit that like button as well. Follow the social medias, Misfit Podcast TV on the Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram, the other audio outlets, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Stitcher Radio, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. Also, you can find this show on YouTube, youtube.com/@Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Like I said, Puerto Rico brought it tonight. I want to see more. I wanted them to do a pay-per-view and a WWE Raw or SmackDown show every day, every week in Puerto Rico, because they brought it tonight. Hell of a fucking crowd you guys were tonight. Unfortunately, we got to go back to terrible cities starting Monday. But yeah, this show was great. This show, in my opinion, was maybe this show. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. This show is better than Night 2 of WrestleMania. Like Triple H, despite his weird booking decisions, when it comes to the pay-per-views, Triple H has delivered almost every single time, and it started with the SummerSlam. I know he didn't book that show per se, because that was a Vince. The whole show, match-wise, was booked by Vince. But SummerSlam was great. What was the show they had in September? I don't remember what show it was they had in September. I don't even know if they had a pay-per-view in September. It might have been Crown Jewel. I don't know. Maybe. That was okay. Then they had Extreme Rules, which I thought was fine. Which I thought was fun. I thought it was fine. The Bray Wyatt return made up for it. Survivor Series was great. They had the 2 War Games matches. They didn't have a pay-per-view in December. Royal Rumble was great. Elimination Chamber was fire. WrestleMania Night 1 was fire. WrestleMania Night 2, outside of Gunther and the Gunther IC title match, and maybe the Bianca Oscar match was great, but the outcome was kind of shit. And then tonight, this was great stuff. But let's talk about it here. Show opened with IYO SKY challenging. I wish she was challenging for the Raw Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. Yes, SmackDown's Bianca Belair defending her Raw Women's title against another SmackDown wrestler. Does that make sense? But this match was great. right off the bat, the crowd was 100% behind, not even 100%, 1,000% behind IYO SKY, as they should be, because I think they're just over Bianca Belair always winning her matches. Or let me rephrase that. They don't mind her winning her matches. I think they're over her of just continuing retaining her championship. I think just like me and like a lot of others are ready for a new champion. It's like, if you've noticed this, outside the United States Championship I'm going to lump in the tag titles too, because outside of that, and maybe the SmackDown Women's Championship, but that doesn't count because no one gives a shit about that title. The Raw Women's title, the Undisputed Universal title, the Intercontinental title, and again, I'm going to lump the tag title. I'm going to lump the tag titles into that. Have not changed hands for an entire year. The tag titles, even longer than that. Until WrestleMania, where they changed hands, and now Owens and Zayn are the champions. And no one's going to admit this. I'll talk about this in more detail after I get through the review. But this match was great. Like I said, every time Bianca tried to do something, the crowd booed. Every time IYO would do her offense, the people cheered. As soon as her music she came out, fans were chanting IYO, IYO. There was "Let's go IYO" chant. They wanted her to win the title. I wanted her to win the title because I just over this title run, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But near the end of the match, Damage CTRL comes out, tries to distract the referee, as Bayley, first of all, tries to get involved. She fails. They try to help. Well, Bayley tries to help IYO win and try not to get caught, but the referee sees her, and she's trying to tell her to stop. IYO is looking at Bayley like, "What the fuck you doing? I didn't ask for any of your help down here. Why are you two out here?" She's pissed. She has this pissed look off her face, on her face. She does the acai moonsault, misses. Bianca Belair hits the KOD and retains the gold. After the match, you can see on the floor. I think they showed this on television, but I'm not sure. There is an image floating around of IYO. Looks deflated, and quite frankly, she's really pissed off at Damage CTRL, as I would be too. And I want to point this out because I said this to one of my friends. I said this multiple times, and I said this since SummerSlam. I said, remember when I said months ago, not only was IYO SKY going to be the one to break away from Damage CTRL, but also was going to be the babyface coming out of the group, and everyone and their mother and everyone and their child, their dad, their puppy, anyone tried to tell me was not. It's going to be Bayley. I'm like, no, it's not. For the past few weeks, and I like I said, I haven't covered much Raw lately because I haven't been up to it. But I've been watching the show, and I've been noticing the reactions IYO's gotten. She's getting more and more babyface reactions each week. Dakota Kai, not so much. Bayley, they just don't. They're kind of over Bayley as well. And it's time to pull the trigger on IYO SKY, and I thought this would have been the nice time to do it. The crowd was so behind IYO SKY, they wanted her to win the title. So when they were chanting IYO's name, I'm like, if I'm Triple H, I'm just calling an audible right here and now, because that crowd is deafening, and they want IYO SKY to win the title. That, of course, didn't happen. We aren't getting IYO winning the title right now. I do think she's going to win the title eventually. Personally, I still think the match at SummerSlam should be IYO SKY versus Asuka. For the title, that feels like a match they should be doing. I would put IYO SKY in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and I have her win Money in the Bank too. At this point, now the other reason I was talking about it a few minutes ago was about why I think people are booing. Like it's plain as day, and it happened at WrestleMania too. And no one's gonna admit this. They're tired of Bianca's not everyone's tired of Bianca's reign, but no one's gonna admit this, that Bianca's title run, mainly her Raw Women's title run, 90% of that run has been against either Becky Lynch or Bayley, and the 9%, the other 9%, which is supposed to be the 100%, was one match with one terrible fucking program with Alexa Bliss, and what the fuck else? And I think that was, and something else she did, and I don't fucking remember what it was. Who the fuck? There was somebody else he had a small program with that I don't remember who it was. Anyway, and that one terrible fucking match with Carmella that was never supposed to take place. So, in my opinion, her title run, sure, you can have great matches. Here's the thing. This is another thing that the people don't seem to understand. You can have great matches all you want. That's not going to mean shit when your title run and the storyline, or the booking rather, is not very good. Like when she was feuding with Bayley, she beat Damage CTRL all by herself. Meaning when she did that, why am I going to care about another match between her and Bayley if I know the exact same outcome is going to happen here? And guess what? As much as I loved this match and enjoyed it, that same fucking outcome happened here, except the person in the ring this time with Bianca was IYO. So I just think it's time for a change. Time for Bianca to go heel, first of all. And I don't give a fuck what other people say. That she's not very good as a babyface. I'm sorry. Y'all can say this all she want. Y'all can praise her all you want. But her character is not a babyface character. I'm sorry. If you're gonna go around and say yourself, you're the EST, you're the bestest, the fastest, whatever, and try to call yourself better than anybody else, babyfaces do not do that. Cody Rhodes doesn't go out there and say, "Oh, I'm the American Nightmare. I'm Dusty Rhodes' son, and you're not. And I'm better than you." He doesn't do that. I don't hear fucking who on the AEW roster as a babyface doesn't do that. Darby Allin. Well, Darby Allin does that sometimes, so I ain't gonna say that there. Hangman Page doesn't do that. Babyface Kenny Omega doesn't do that. Sting has never done that. Let's see who else. Who other babyfaces I can think of that's never actually fucking did that? Bret Hart. Well, that was his catchphrase, but he proved it every night. But he didn't always. But when he said he was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, he never actually said that. The person he was in the ring with in his promos, because I say that lightly because I mentioned Shawn Michaels, but when he was in the ring doing his matches and doing his promos, he never said stuff like, "Oh, I'm the greatest wrestler on the earth. My opponent tonight, Mr. Perfect, or whatever. You're a piece of shit. You're garbage in the ring. You are not great at all. I'm better than you." Or whatever it is. Undertaker's never really said that. But what my main point is Bianca needs to drop the title and not the fucking Charlotte Flair at all. Charlotte Flair does not need another championship run, okay? And if we're doing this whole SmackDown swap title thing again, She just literally lost the SmackDown Women's title to Rhea Ripley 4 or 5 weeks ago at WrestleMania. Was it four? Was it sometime last month? However long ago it was. An entire month ago. She does not need to win another championship, okay? And you know what? If I'm gonna fucking do this, right? And if the plan, right, is to have Bianca as the baby face, because whatever fucking reason, Charlotte is the heel, fine, Charlotte's a better heel. If you want, have Charlotte beat Bianca, have Io win the briefcase, and then cash in on Charlotte, and then win the title from Charlotte Flair. And then from there, you can build Asuka back up for WrestleMania, and then you can do Asuka and IYO SKY at WrestleMania in Philadelphia. Bam. It's not that fucking hard to do, guys. Like, and let's talk about this women's division on SmackDown real quick, because I need to talk about this here. Like, Raw didn't get very much when it comes to the draft, and I'm kind of like upset about that, because like, let's look at this. So let's look at the current Raw women's division here, which you obviously got Rhea Ripley, the, I guess, champion of whatever over here. You have Becky Lynch, you have Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, who technically is undrafted right now because she was not a part of the draft. Nikki Cross, Piper Niven, Carmella, who again was not part of the draft. Xia Li, Dana Brooke, Maurice goes with the Miz, so that's the whole thing there. Candice LeRae, Kathy Kelly is the backstage interviewer for Raw. Chelsea Green, Maxine Dupree is the valet for Maximum Male Models. Trish Stratus, for some odd fucking reason, was part of the draft. India Hartwell, who actually just vacated the NXT Women's Championship, is now on the main roster. So there was no reason to put her on, give her the fucking title at Stand and Deliver. Zoe Stark, who was called up from NXT. Natalia, for whatever reason she still exists. Valhalla, who is technically a manager. She doesn't really wrestle very much. She probably might not, but that's Sarah Logan, the manager of Viking Raiders. Raquel Rodriguez, who is one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, which they're probably going to get rid of. I fucking hope so. Shayna Baszler, who is missing. So is Ronda Rousey. Tegan Knox, who got moved over to Raw from SmackDown. Emma, Katana Chance, and Karen Carter, who did not win the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. That's another whole story for another day. And then here's what here is what SmackDown got when it comes to like big names, big time matches you could do. You got Bianca Belair, you have Bayley, you have IYO SKY, Dakota Kai, Asuka, Lacey Evans is around for some reason. Mia Yim, who was drafted over with the OC. AJ Styles is back, by the way, which is awesome. Shotzi, who actually got moved over to Raw, I think. No, she's staying on SmackDown. Never mind. Tamina, for whatever reason, is there. I think she got moved over to SmackDown. I have to look. I wrote all this down. I remember. Charlotte Flair is around for some reason. Scarlett, who wrestles every now and then. B-Fab, who is just there. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, who got called up to the main roster. So, like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm ranting about the draft. The draft kind of pissed me off a little bit. So many times. I don't know. But that's how that thing is. Hopefully this is the start of something great for IYO. It does seem like they're going they are going forward with not the brand split, the fucking split of the Damage Control and a babyface run for IYO SKY, and that's great news. We get to see, and Solid Monster put this very, very well on social media. He put this in perspective, or into words I was trying to come up with, actually. This is the first time since she's been called up to the main roster that she's finally shown glimpse of her in NXT, and I just love it. We're finally, hopefully, going to get to see the badass babyface Joshi Judas that we come to know and love from the black and gold of NXT era, and the former leader of Queen's Quest, which is kind of funny. I saw this tweet out earlier. Queen's Quest, who's been on a losing streak, by the way, lately, who's doing their own interpromotional warfare going on of what's the word I'm looking for? Inner fighting or like tension, and they're putting a lot of blame on Utami, who is the current leader of Queen's Quest, and today or this morning they got a win. I don't remember who they wrestled. I think they wrestled Oedo Tai. I think it was a 6-woman. It was either a regular tag match or it was a 6-woman tag. Either way, Oedo Tai, I think it was Oedo Tai, lost to Queen's Quest, and I put out the tweet like, Queen's Quest gets a win on the day that the founder of Queen's Quest is in a big time title match on a pay-per-view. Coincidence? I think not. It was a joke though, but also Micah is doing some great shit over there. She's fucking about to go on a tear, a singles run, and I'm all fucking for it. And if I don't even care if she's a heel or not. Rossi Ogawa, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably not. Probably have no idea what the fuck I'm saying right now. But put the fucking strap on Micah, and also give her the fucking 5-star Grand Prix. That is all. Backstage, though, back to the show here. Rey Mysterio is backstage with Bad Bunny in his locker room, getting ready for his San Juan Street Fight with Damian Priest. Savio Vega is in the back here, and he handed Bad Bunny a kendo stick, but not any ordinary kendo stick. A kendo stick with Puerto Rican flag on it, because I guess it gives them superpowers or something. I don't know. That was cool to see Savio Vega. Next, we had Omos having the best match of his career with Seth Rollins. Shocker, right? Seth Rollins, once again, giving people their best match on the roster. Holy shit. Mind ball. It's like it's never happened before. Like anytime you see somebody say, hey, they've had their best match on the roster with somebody, 9 times out of the 10, when it comes to the men's roster, their opponent is somehow Seth Rollins across the ring. Like for example, Backlash, the same show, by the way. What was it? Fungo, that was that show. Backlash 2018. That was 5 years ago, 2018 Backlash, when they stopped doing the brand exclusive pay-per-views, which I'm hearing they may actually go back to that. I don't mind it per se. As long as it's not 2 pay-per-views in the month of this, in like I don't know, July or something, you know. Anyway, on that show, the show opened up with The Miz challenging Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. Guess what? That is still The Miz's best match. I know a lot of people like I love the Dolph Ziggler program that happened on SmackDown. But I still think his match with Seth Rollins is his best one. And shocker, his WrestleMania match with the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 34. Again, shocker, because it had Seth Rollins and Finn Balor in it. Amazing. Seth Rollins' other best match that he put on with somebody else was Elias. That same year, 2018 Money in the Bank. Elias' best match is with Seth Rollins. I feel like, now I could be stretching it a bit, but I feel like Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, it's damn good at this thing called professional wrestling, and that he probably can do this in his sleep. He can probably make this paper towel I have in my hand here have the greatest 10-star match that the paper towel has ever put on because of Seth Rollins. This is the first time I'm going to go into depth, not much, but into depth with a Omos match, because this was actually a lot of fun. Obviously, most of the match was Omos doing his shtick, but a couple curb stomps later, a curb stomp that came from the top rope turnbuckle, which thank God Rollins did not snap his ankle in half, because we're going to have that happen here. But he got up the win here, and not only did that protect Omos in some weird way, make Seth Rollins look good going into him probably and most likely and should, in fact, win the World Heavyweight Championship, which, by the way, they've introduced a World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, since I haven't been doing a lot of podcasts lately. They've introduced a world title because Roman Reigns is a no-show. So, I will talk about who I think should be in that tournament at the end of the podcast, because it is significant with the main event that happened earlier on with Brock and Cody. So we'll get to that. Triple threat match, United States Championship. This was probably my least favorite match on the show. Austin Theory retains against Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. Bronson Reed had no chance in hell winning this match because he was drafted to Raw, as Lashley and Theory was drafted over to SmackDown because Gunther was and the Imperium, but the Intercontinental title mostly was drafted over to Raw. It was either going to be Lashley or Theory. I'm surprised Lashley didn't get the win here, but they're sticking with Theory with the United States Championship. And you know what? I saw somebody put this out on Twitter because LA Knight's staying on SmackDown. If you want to do something big with LA Knight, who's getting over, by the way, good for LA Knight. Getting babyface reactions, I would turn him babyface too. If somebody's getting organically over, even though it's not to your liking, I don't give a shit what they're doing, what your plans are for them. You pull the trigger on them, just like LA Knight. You pull the trigger on him as a babyface, and you know what? You have him. I don't think he should win Money in the Bank. Okay, let me rephrase that. He was my pick to win Money in the Bank this year. Actually, no, he wasn't, actually. Seth Rollins was my pick to win Money in the Bank this year. But they've got Seth Rollins getting ready for him to do something else. Cody Rhodes is most likely winning Money in the Bank. So, here's what I would do. I would have Austin Theory do whatever he's doing here, and I'd have LA Knight turn babyface and challenge Austin Theory for the United States Championship at Night of Champions. And you know fucking what? I would put the title on LA Knight. Strap the title on him, one of the titles on him, and go with LA Knight as the United States Champion, because I think Bobby Lashley is probably going to be part of this World Championship tournament. By the way, another reason I should have mentioned this here. The tournament is going to be so earlier this morning. We found out what it's going to be a tournament to crown the finals of the World Championship tournament at Night of Champions. They've been talking about this for a few weeks now. That actually I think they just started talking about it last week, where members of Raw and SmackDown will compete to find out who is the number one contender, or not the number one contender, will be the first world champion. Which again, I already have an issue with it because this is a Raw title, a Raw exclusive championship, and they're going to have a tournament for a Raw championship featuring Raw talent, which is obviously the right call because it's a Raw title, and a SmackDown talent. So this automatically neglects the entire brand split. You've already said fuck the brand split. A week, 2 weeks into the fucking brand split being announced, the draft being announced, you've already fucking said fuck that. But it's probably gonna be Lashley into that on that SmackDown side here. It's gonna be 2 triple threat matches on Raw and 2 triple threat matches on SmackDown. The winners of those triple threat matches will meet in the main event of said Raw and SmackDown, and the winners of that match, those two matches, will meet in the finals at Night of Champions to crown the World Heavyweight Champion for Raw. But yeah, Rhea Ripley soundly defeated Zelina Vega for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Yep, you heard me that correct. You heard me again correctly. Raw's Rhea Ripley defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against not a Raw talent. No. A SmackDown wrestler. Makes sense. Zelina Vega got a great reaction coming out here. She had her theme, her attire was themed in Puerto Rico because she is of Puerto Rican descent. But I jokingly put this out on. I said in one of the chat rooms I was in when this match was happening. So I don't know the significance behind the flip flop shoe thing in Puerto Rico, but she threw a shoe that was handed to her by, I think, her mom. And she threw it at Rhea, and I jokingly said on the chats that I was in, said, well, Zelina should be disqualified then because she hit Rhea with a foreign object right in front of the referee too. I said it was a joke, but it's kind of funny if they had done that. But matches are all right. Nothing too big happened here. Rhea Ripley hits the Riptide after a kick to the head to retain the gold after the match. This match was more about the moment, the post match, than it was the actual match itself. Standing ovation for Zelina Vega, who was crying her eyes out. So cool to see that. Yeah. Next up, oh boy, I am fucking excited to talk about this. San Juan Street Fight. Damian Priest of the Judgment Day taking on the newest member of the LWO, Bad Bunny. This match was fucking awesome. I loved every moment of this match, every minute of it, from top to bottom. This was, as Sean Ross Sapp put it all on Twitter, and I want to see if I can find his tweet here. Let me see if I can find it. It was well put together. If I can find it here. Oh my god, I gotta find it here. It's where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I know I had seen it here a second ago. Oh well, it was something about Sports Entertained. Oh, here we go. So this was one of the best overly booked things I have ever seen, and I have to agree. This was incredible stuff. I enjoyed the hell out of this. Bad Bunny immediately out of the gate. It's a fucking Michinoku driver on Damian Priest. It popped me like I'm like I didn't see that coming. The crowd was popped huge for Bad Bunny when he comes out. Later in the match, those two beat the ever shit out of each other. Priest tried to feign an injury, though I think he Priest was getting worked on in half the match on the leg, but also tried to feign the same injury with, I don't know. It was very awkward timing on that one. But while all this is going on, here comes Finn Balor, and here comes Condom and his demon, Finn Balor. They come out here. They're attacking Bad Bunny, right? And they're just beating him up. And then next thing you fucking know, Fucking Carlito's music hits. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm in this chat room here with some of my friends while we're watching the show. I was so excited to see Carmella. I was so excited to see Carlito that I misspelled his name over the excitement that I was to see Carlito. That's how much I popped for Carlito coming out here, because I didn't see it coming. And then, just to think that's over with, Balor and Dominic are trying to leave. Out comes Savio Vega, okay? He brings the rest of the LWO out. They start beating the shit out of Judgment Day left and right. This is just all over the place here, and I loved every bit of it. Near the end of the match, Bad Bunny first gets hit, kicks out of a cover, following a sliced bread by Bad Bunny. Bunny repeatedly hit Priest with the chair at the center of the ring, and Bunny planted Priest with the Bunny Destroyer to win the match. And this was awesome, man. Oh my God, I loved every minute of this. And yes, before anybody asks, Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest did in fact go on the Misfit Wrestling Podcast year-end awards. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. That was awesome. This show is on the Misfit Wrestling Podcast year-end awards for Show of the Year, by the way. This is the second WWE show on this list, or on this awards list. WrestleMania Night 1's on there as well. But will WWE be able to top this show that they had tonight? I don't know. That was awesome. I enjoyed that. I had a good time with that. Reminds me of how much of a good time I had with the Dominic Rey Mysterio match from WrestleMania. But yeah, I loved it. Next up, something I didn't really care too much about was the 6-man tag match that could have been on Raw. They didn't really need this match on the show. The Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso defeated Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. I didn't really care for this match. It was good, but it's something that could have been on Raw. Near the end of the match, tensions again with this Bloodline, so I'm kind of over it, if I'm being honest. I don't care about the Bloodlines anymore. I really don't. This story, I thought the story of this whole thing was over with at WrestleMania. I guess not. I thought the whole point of Cody telling Sami to finish the story didn't really matter. Yeah, Solo Sikoa hits the Samoan spike on Sami Zayn, covers him for the win. 1, 2, 3. Or no, it was on Matt Riddle. 1, 2, 3. Match was over. While in post match, Solo staring down Jay. He looks like he was going to beat him too, but didn't happen. And it was whatever. Main event though, was fine. What it was. Cody Rhodes defeated Brock Lesnar. It was almost 10 minutes. Most of the match was Brock doing these usual Brock stuff: suplex, 1 at 5. At one point in the match, Cody Rhodes exposed the turnbuckle. Cody ran Brock into the corner, and Brock actually busted open the hard way. There's blood pouring down here because that's what Brock does. If he's going to be lead in a match, he's going to be it the hard way. Cody had a Cody cutter after the spot into the turnbuckle. Double crossroads. Cody. Lesnar kicks out. Lesnar landed a left F5. Cody kicked out. Lesnar gets Cody into the Kimura lock, but Cody was managed to roll up Lesnar while Cody is in the Kimura for the win. And Cody Rhodes wins here. And I think this is now what they're going to do. Because I think they're going to do Cody and Brock 2 at Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I thought about the show overall. I loved it. 7 out of 10. I would have gave it a 9 out of 10 had Bad Bunny and Damian Priest went on last, and IYO had won the title. But 7 out of 10 is not bad. Now let's think about the tournament for the the World Championship, which apparently is going to be announced sometime tomorrow on social media. So let's look at the men's roster right now. The men's main event title scene looks stacked. You have Cody Rhodes, who I think is not going to be a part of that because obviously I think they're going to do something with Brock here. You got Seth Rollins, who in my opinion should and is probably going to win the championship because we have to think of the 2 triple threat matches. So it has to be six wrestlers. So that's 12 combatants here. So 6 wrestlers on Raw. We have Seth Rollins probably in here. You could put Shinsuke Nakamura, Matt Riddle. This is my prediction of who's going to be in these triple threat matches. I don't know what the combination is going to be, but the 6 men on Raw I think are going to be Seth Rollins. I think Cody's going to try and he's going to get beat up by Brock Lesnar, or Brock Lesnar is going to try to, I guess, demand a rematch or something. So you're going to have Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle, Shinsuke Nakamura, if he's ready to come back, Drew McIntyre. I gotta move Edge over onto this roster here page. They could put JD McDonough on there. JD McDonough, don't Google me or whoever. That's one. Actually, hold on a second. So you can do Rollins, you can do Nakamura, Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle, Finn Balor, and one more. Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens could probably be in that spot there. And then on SmackDown, not a lot of names on here. You can you got AJ Styles, obviously. You got Karrion Kross, even though he's not had the greatest run on the main roster so lately. He had a great match with Nakamura on SmackDown though. But there's that. Bobby Lashley is one. Sheamus can be another one because Sheamus can't challenge for the Intercontinental Championship, so you can do that. You could do Pete Dunne, and if you wanted to, you could do. So I could see them putting Solo Sikoa in there. But I think the finals. If I was booking the finals, it would be Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. But knowing WWE and knowing how they have to constantly do this shit with the Bloodline, it's probably going to be Seth Rollins and Solo Sikoa at Night of Champions. But I don't want it to be. I want it to be Seth Rollins and AJ and them have a fucking barn burner, right? And then Seth wins the title, and then you can do Seth versus whoever at SummerSlam if you want. You could do Seth versus Balor. You know what? I would not be opposed to them running back Seth Rollins and Balor at SummerSlam. I mean, if you want, you could put the title back on Balor. Balor still has not gotten a proper run with the title on the main roster, and it's not his fault. Yeah. But yeah, I thought Backlash was fun. I enjoyed what I watched here. It was an excellent show from top to bottom, even though there were some decisions I was questioning, like not putting the title on IYO SKY when she was white hot on this show, not having Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, who had the best match on the night, by the way, close Puerto Rico, their first show in what did they say, 15 years? Is that what they said? I think it was 15 or 16 years or something like that. But who am I to blame here? But yeah, this has been the Miss for SM podcast. If you want to comment about this stuff here, let me know. That's my thoughts on Backlash. I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. All the links into the social media will be in the description below. My link, link tree or whatever site it is that has my Instagram and my Twitter and one of my audio outlets, but you can just look it up on the social medias. Just very easy on all those social media, not social medias, the audio outlet platforms. Just look it up on there. And remember, right here on youtube.com/@Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I will see you guys back here, hopefully, for Monday Night Raw. Assuming it doesn't suck. I hope it doesn't, because I want to get back to doing these reviews here. I'm probably going to stop doing Ring of Honor reviews for a while. I know I did one Ring of Honor review and a pay-per-view, but I don't know if I can be able to keep up with it. I'll still watch Ring of Honor, but I don't know if I'm going to review it. I think to me that's just too much wrestling. And plus, you got AEW Collision coming up soon. I will let you guys know what I'm going to do with that. It's going to be the show with CM Punk on there. I don't know what we're going to do with that, but I'll let you guys know when that stuff is announced here. Until then, I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Until then, we're out.